Hi, and welcome to this Wednesday edition of Focal Point AFR Talk. Give us a call, 888-589-8840, 888-589-8840. And by the way, here's one of the ways in which we are going to need your help. Remember that this incident at Camp Shelby, 888-589-8840 is the number, by the way. 888-589-8840 is the number to call if you want to join the conversation about what we've been talking about here. This demonizing of the AFA by the United States military, which now we are discovering, thanks to the work of Todd Starnes, is not an isolated instance. This was not a case of a rogue trainer kind of going off reservation, going off message. This is, in fact, systemic in the United States military, and they now have launched a witch hunt to try to identify the soldier who released this information to me, to AFA, and to Todd Starnes of Fox News. And what we need, so the military says, look, the information was incorrect. It was bogus. We've told this soldier, we confronted him with it. He's admitted it was wrong. That information has been purged from the presentation. This is not according to Army policy. So it looks like the Army is saying, look, this information was wrong. It looks like they're saying we reprimanded the soldier who gave this information. We've cleaned up the materials. So if that's the case, we consider this matter closed, close the books on it, then why in the world, number one, are they going after this guy? If he did nothing more than tell the truth, expose the truth, correct false information, why in the world is the military going after him? What's up with that? When he's just correcting the record, doing the military and its job, doing them a big favor. And so why are they even hunting this guy? Because the only reason they want to hunt this guy down is to punish him. But if they are admitting, look, this was incorrect information, it was bogus, it was wrong, we've corrected the information, corrected the record, then why in the world would anybody be punished for this? Somebody ought to get a commendation for this, for correcting this erroneous information. There's a lot that's still got to come out, a lot that is wrong with this picture. 888-589-8840. And here's where we're going to need your help. Because the military is trying to say, look, this is isolated. This is a rogue guy. We're finding out, no, this is systemic. Those who do training on this topic are told by the military to use the SPLC as a creditable source to identify hate groups. And we just had the conversation with Charlotte Allen. They're not credible in any way, shape, or form. They just make money off of fear-mongering, raising these irrational, hyperbolic, unfounded accusations about pro-family groups and militia groups and non-existent Klan groups. That's what they do. They got $256 million socked away in the Cayman Islands, I guess, or someplace like that. And, and one of their executives said at the end of the article, the reason we're stockpiling all that money, we're running out of targets. We realize we may not be able to raise money like this forever, so we got to feather our own nest. They're kind of stocking that away for a rainy day. So we need you to let us know here at AFA. We need you to let us know. We got a lot of members of our network that are in the military, are married to people in the military, have family members. If this kind of training, you're aware of somebody that has actually witnessed, observed, listened to, been presented with this kind of training, we need to hear from you. We need to have you contact us. You can use email, focalpoint@afr.net, focalpoint@afr.net. Let us know through that vehicle. You can call us here at AFA and ask for me. They'll get you to me, and we'll take down your information, keep track of any instances where you know that the American Family Association has been identified in military training as a hate group. So keep us abreast. So we're going to need you to get involved and help us do this, blow this thing completely wide open. Well, let's go to the phones. Let's begin by going to Gabe in Dallas, Texas. Gabe, welcome to Focal Point with Brian Fisher. What's on your mind?
How you doing today, Brian?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great, sir. I want to start off by saying that I'm a daily listener of your show. I highly respect your opinion, and I know you speak the truth. I just got to say, though, that, if we don't want to be labeled with a certain group of people, then we shouldn't, make ourselves appear to be like them. I mean, using terminology that, you've used in the past, like calling our homosexual brothers and sisters, sodomites or this, sodomy-based relationships and all that could be viewed as being confrontational.
Wait, hold it. Are you aware that sodomy is a legal term? It's a dictionary word?
Absolutely, and I'm not saying it's not the truth. But I
Well,
don't think that it could
but
be,
Gabe, it's just simply the truth. I mean,
is.
it's a legal term. There are laws against sodomy. There's nothing pejorative about that. It's just descriptive.
Well, I agree with you, but you have to understand that, to somebody who, somebody on the other side of the fence might see that as being hurtful.
So,
I mean, you
what you're admitting is that their reaction, it appears to them to be hurtful. It would seem to be hurtful to them. So, based on their purely subjective emotional reaction, we have to avoid anatomically correct terminology. I don't understand that.
I'm just saying that we should speak with love. A little more. I mean, we are to be salt and light. We're not to be confrontational or to even give the appearance of being confrontational. And if we know that something that we're saying might be construed as being hurtful.
Well, wait, Gabe. If we tell people that two men should not engage in homosexual behavior, that's going to be considered hurtful to people. Do you mean so? You mean we should not even say that? Because some people might get offended.
That's not what I'm talking about, sir. What I'm talking about is straight out in almost. Understand again. I do believe in truth, and I do believe you speak the truth. But
well, let me ask you, Gabe.
There in front of millions of people, labeling a group of people a term that could be construed as being, in your face, when you walk in the light, you make yourself an easy target, Brian.
Well, yeah, but Gabe, using the word sodomy is just a legally correct term. It's an anatomically correct term. There's nothing pejorative about it. It's simply descriptive. But let me ask you, because I want to follow up on your framework, is if you say something that could be offensive to somebody else could take offense at it, somebody else could be hurt by what you say, you therefore shouldn't say it, then, but Gabe, you got to realize if you simply say that homosexual behavior is a sin, I mean, I don't know how much more bland you could put it, and they're offended by that. So are you saying we should not say that homosexuality is a sin because it might offend somebody?
No, sir. That's not what I'm saying.
So what are we to say? So then what are we to say?
Be more careful about the way we phrase it. We should not call them. We should not say the sodomites are.
Hey, Gabe, I've never used the term sodomite. Never, ever. Not one single solitary time in my broadcast career have I ever used the word sodomite. Never, ever, not once.
Some folks in the station do quite often use that term.
Well, I never have, and you're talking to me here, and I never have used that term.
I'm saying that's probably why the people are labeled in with the Ed Phelps group.
Yeah, but that's a perfectly accurate. But Gabe, that's a perfectly accurate term. You can look it up in the dictionary. I mean, it's just a dictionary word. It's not slang. It's not urban. It's not street talk. It's in Webster's dictionary. So let me ask you this, Gabe. So you say we should not use terminology that offends people. So how do you think we should talk about homosexual behavior? What should we say about homosexual behavior?
I don't know all the answers, sir. I don't. I just know that you got these people standing on street corners with signs calling them, the F word, and they use that word among themselves.
I know that, but Gabe, we don't use that term. We've never used the F word on this program. Never used it in any of our literature or publications, anything.
The same thing to them as calling them sodomites.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not talking about two people having sex. It's talking about calling them a certain. It's defining them under a certain label.
Well, but using the F word, that's slang. That's street talk. That's kind of urban talk. Sodomite is not, and I've never used that term, but that's a dictionary term. We don't use the F word because it's like the N word in the black community. I find it offensive myself. I don't use it. I find the term itself offensive, so I'm not going to use it.
I would agree with you, sir. I would completely agree with you.
Yeah, but Gabe, if Fred Phelps uses it, then I condemn that. I criticize that. I don't approve of that. But how does that make us guilty? I mean, the fact that Fred Phelps uses offensive terminology, why should anybody objectively, rationally use that against us?
Because it's the same. It's in today's atmosphere. All right, it will be construed by the media and by the federal government with the way they think now as being hate speech. That's why.
Okay.
I don't agree with it now, sir. I agree completely.
Yeah, but Gabe, you're still not helping me here. I don't understand how we're supposed to talk about this then if we're supposed to avoid language that other people would construe as hate speech. What are we supposed to say about this issue?
I don't know. We got to figure out a way to do it in love. That's all I know. That's what Jesus would want us to do.
Well, but Gabe, everything we do is motivated by our love for these people. You know, because we think they're capable of something better. We know the destructive consequences of homosexual behavior. We are alarmed that our society is normalizing behavior which we know is destructive to human health, and we know it's destructive to their spiritual health. It would be irresponsible of us not to try to warn people of the consequences of this behavior, and to speak the truth to somebody in love is not a crime, and it's not hate. In fact, what Paul told us to do, the mark of maturity, is speaking the truth in love. And it's like somebody, you know, the CDC indicates that the homosexual behavior is as risky to human health as injection drug abuse. If we want to warn people about injection drug abuse, don't we?
Sir,
we want to warn them about that, right? We don't want people involved in injection drug abuse.
See, and here's where you're misunderstanding. I am not defending that at all. I completely, like I started out in the beginning, I agree with you. I believe that you're truthful, and I believe that everything you said on the air is truthful. But you cannot expect other people to understand it when you use terms like that. You're asking to be lumped in with Mr. Phelps.
But Gabe, you're not telling me what language I should use that you think would be persuasive to these people. What would work? What language would work?
You know, there's other ways to say it. That's all.
Well, what are they?
I don't call them homosexuals.
Yeah, but what if they take offense at that?
They probably will.
No, they will, and so you know. All right. Well, listen, Gabe, I appreciate your input. Thanks for your call. You know what Gabe is illustrating here is, I think a lot of times we're just paralyzed by the fact that other people take offense at things we say. Well, I mean, I take offense at a lot of the things that other people say about me. So, I mean, if being offended at what somebody else says is a basis for them to stop saying what they're saying, I mean, I don't know where you go with that. Conversation, debate, discussion just kind of stops right dead in its tracks. Focal Point, AFR Talk. We'll be right back after the news. Stay with us.